Welcome you all for the next model, that is symmetrical three-phase fault. Generally, we'll call it as a symmetrical fault analysis. So let's see, we can understand what do you mean by fault and what are the different reasons for forming the fault in a power system. So let's understand that a fault in a circuit is any failure which interferes with the normal flow of the current to it. It can be undesirable creation of conducting path, or sometimes it is a blockage to flow of the current. So it may be, we can understand that it may be under short circuit or an open circuit. So generally the people what they'll feel that or think that if there is a short circuit then there is a fault in the system. So it's not only the short circuit. So sometimes the open means most of the times it may be the short and open circuit condition. We can feel it is an the fault. So let's understand that what are the different type of the reasons for happening a fault in a system. The first one is foreign object which is coming in contact with the bare power lines. So the foreign objects may take virtuality in any forms. So like the tree which is falling onto the transmission line, bird shouting out to the lines, vehicles which is colliding with the towers or the poles, animals coming in contact. So these are the four of the reasons for happening in a fault in a system. So other than this, we have insulation failures or switching surges. Already we understood that. So there is a difference between the lightning and the switching surges. So these are the natural things which is going to happen. So because of this lightning and the switching surges, so there is a possibility of the failure of the insulation, hence resulting in a fault will takes places. So next we have thermal heating, which is going to cause a sagging of the power lines. We understood that most of the lines are bare conductors, and also there is a sag which is limiting around a 5%. But when the system is overloaded, the resulting in there is increase in the sag. So once if there is increase in the sag, so resulting in there is an thermal heating of the cable will increases, resulting in there is a possibility of the contact with the neighboring conductors, hence the fault may takes places. So next we have human switching operations, so resulting in errors, hence there is a fault may takes places because the electrical power system is such a vast network. So there is a possibility of the malfunctioning or sometimes the human interferences may takes places. So this is might be the one of the reason for taking place fault in the power system. So now we understood that what are the reasons. So not only these things, other than this we have a number of the reasons. So resulting in there is an uh, fault may takes place into the power system. So let's understand that what are the different type of the classification in the fault which you're going to consider. This is the first one is a symmetrical fault, which is going to takes place means occur in a power system. So we are going to make it classification as symmetrical fault and the unsymmetrical fault. So in the case of the symmetrical fault, what will happens that the current in all the phases means all the three phases will be remains the balanced or the same. So even after the taking the or even after the fault takes places, then we can call it as it is a symmetrical fault. So we can go for, in place of the three phase analysis, we'll go for a single phase analysis. So which is going to be a very convenient analysis based on the single phase analysis. So on other hand, so in the case of an unsymmetrical fault, the fault current is not the same in all the three phases. In such cases, the special tools like symmetrical components which are required to analyze the fault, because we are not capable to understand, or we cannot make it on a single phase basis. So that's why we have to go for an other the way of understanding this. So most of the things which is coming under symmetrical component that we are going to understand the later part of this chapter. Let's understand one by one how actually the fault, if it is takes place in a power system, so how does the each component which is going to behave here. So like the generator, transformer, and the transmission line and the distribution system. Here we are not discussing the transformer and the distribution system. So distribution system is mainly depending upon the kind of the load and their behavior. So we are looking into that the generator and the transmission lines behavior. So how does this is going to behave? So that's what the concept, the transients on a transmission line. So that is the transients on a transmission line. So here, so basically in any modeling of the transmission line, either it may be of the T network or the pi network, we are observed that the shunt capacitance will be very small compared to the inductance. Hence, the line can be represented by a lumped RL circuit which is in series with the alternating the source of the voltage. The short circuit, which is an transient phenomenon which does not last longer. So this is an gives an more informative to understand the transient behavior of the transmission line to start. So based on this, we are considering that there is a voltage source, the resistance and the reactance, and already what I told that the capacitance is neglected and the source is kept open. So we are assuming that some sort of the parameters uh, to do a transient analysis on a transmission line. So that is, first one is the supply voltage is a constant, means it is irrespective of the load, the voltage which is a constant to the system. Then we have the short circuit occurs only when the line is unloaded, means we are not considering any sort of the load under this phenomenon. And also I told that the line capacitance which is negligible. So these are the three things which are going to make it to do a transient analysis on a transmission line. So let's assume that already we told that the voltage is an constant. So what is the voltage? V of t is equal to Vm into sine omega t plus alpha, where Vm is the peak value of the sinusoidal waveform, where Vm is equal to root 2 times of the V value, where V is an RMS value, and omega t is nothing but the phase angle of the input voltage. Okay, then after doing that, the current which is flowing into the circuit after short circuit, which can be arrived by applying differential equation, Laplace transformation, and some algebraic. So we are not going to discuss all those things because we already know the concept, what will happens when the resistance and inductance, okay, with some constant voltage sources. So if we applied that when the t is equal to 0, we applying and opening and the closing of the switches, so that we have to, already we understood the concept. The equation is I of t is equal to Vm by z mod of z into sine omega t plus alpha minus theta, okay, plus sine theta minus alpha e to the power of minus rt by l. So the parameter alpha, which provides the way of the control the timing when there is a short circuit which is takes places. So that is nothing but generally we'll call it as a critical clearing angle. About this we are going to discuss later on. Okay, then this is what we call the equation as 1. So where theta is nothing but the tan inverse of omega l by r. This is, we can call it as it is the power factor angle. So okay, this is omega l by r value. So this is nothing but inductance and the resistance value basically, which is depending upon the impedance is equal to root of r square plus omega l square or xl square, whatever the thing. So we can see to that in the equation 1 we have the two current, that is nothing but multiplied by Vm by z to the first quantity and to the second. Okay, so this term, this is the first term and this is the second term, because we can see to that there is no additional component to multiply here. You can see here this is the e to the power of minus rt by l value. Okay, that's why I of t is equal to, we can write it as I1 of t plus I2 of t. So multiplying this I1 of t with Vm by z to the sine omega t plus alpha minus theta. Okay, this is the, we can call it as the first equation of the I1 of t. So what we can see here, it is an sinusoidal function of the time, because whatever the term we have, okay, omega t, alpha and the theta are varying with respect to the time constant. Okay, so that's why we'll call it as this is a steady state value of the current in the circuit. Generally we can call it as symmetrical short circuit current which is flowing in a system, because it is sinusoidal function. Then we have I2 of t, V1 Vm by z to the sine theta minus alpha multiplied by e to the power of minus rt by l value. Okay, this, so this is multiplied with respect to that. What we can see here, because it is a function of e to the power of minus rt by l value. So this is, if it is, this is your reference and this is a positive node, okay, and this is a negative node. So what will happens if this is the plus, okay, means e to the power of plus something value, it is going to increase exponentially. Okay, and if it is minus, what will happens, this is going to decrease exponentially. Okay, whatever the thing we have, okay, like this. So exponentially increasing and exponentially decreasing. So this is the term, because it is an e to the power of minus rt by l value. Okay, so hence what we call it as I2 of t is equal to, it is exponentially decreasing of the time. So this is what we can call it as DC offset current. Okay, multiplication of this. So this is going to cause the total short circuit current to be unsymmetrical till the transient case, means because the I of t is multiplication by I1 of t and I2 of t. So this is symmetrical one. However, this is, which is going to add up with respect to the DC offset current. So till this value, till unless until which is coming to the zero value, the whatever the transient, the which is the transient which is happening in system, which is going to sustain till that value and dies out. Yet when this is e of e to the power of some value which is crosses at zero value. Okay, let's see, understand that. So DC component with the value, how long this is going to vary? This is going to vary from 0 to the magnitude of Vm by z. Okay, so and what is the time constant of this? Basically the time constant is mainly depending upon the tau value. Okay, this is a tau value that is mainly depending upon the value of L by R ratio. Okay, mainly depending upon this constant value. So let's see. So based on this equation we can understand that. So observe carefully here. We have, so this is nothing but the continuation. This is a v of t. Okay, this is the dotted one. This is a I1 of t, because this is symmetrical one. Okay, so there is an angle between v of t and I1 of t, that is nothing but the theta value. Okay, theta value. And we have something that is excitation control, that is what we can call it as, it is alpha term. Okay, this is the alpha term. The angle between the v and I1 of t is theta. This is the excitation, the angle between 0, which is crosses, and which is going to make it. So till this value we have the controllability to control the transient which is going to take place on a transmission line, that is alpha excitation control. Okay, so this is the magnitude Vm by Z, and the angle of sine theta minus alpha, this is the same here. So already we know that this is under steady state current, because I already told that this is I1 of t is also sinusoidal function with respect to the theta and the alpha value. Okay, and also we know that this I2 of t is basically e to the power of minus RT by L value. So it is going to dice out exponentially. Okay, so when you are going to add up all this, means steady state current and the transient current, this is the resultant value which is going to take place. Okay, so this is the sinusoidal one, and because this is going to take place, okay, whatever the thing we have, this is exponentially decreasing. Okay, let's understand that the first peak, this is the first peak which we can see to that has the maximum amplitude of the short circuit current. Okay, it means that it is going to reach the maximum value immediately. Okay, when I can say it is whenever there is a fault which is takes place in a system, immediately there is a short circuit which is flowing into the transmission line. That's why what we'll understand that, so we'll understand that we are going to put the t is equal to 0 in the equation 1. So already I explained that the equation, what is I of t is equal to, we have the two things, that is Vm by Z into sine omega t plus alpha minus theta plus sine theta minus alpha into e to the power of minus RT by L. Okay, so we are going to consider that t is equal to 0, and also we are assuming that sine omega t plus alpha minus theta is equal to 1. Okay, we are substituting this term whole term is, okay, 1. So in the equation 1, so what will happens, the first term, this is the first term. Okay, so this is the first term, we are substituting that it is 1. Okay, because omega t is equal to 0. Okay, sine 0 is okay, so whatever thing, this we are assuming that it is 1 value. Okay, so here what will happens, so rest of all the equation will become Vm by Z 1 plus sine theta minus alpha e to the power of minus RT by, we'll call this equation as 4. Okay, so we are thinking that in a transmission line the resistance is very small compared to the inductance, so that's why we can neglect the resistance. So what will happens, because we already know that the power factor angle, that is theta is equal to tan inverse of omega L by R value 0. Okay, so tan inverse of that is nothing but infinity, will get the 90-degree. Okay, theta value. So what we are assuming that, again we are putting t is equal to 0 to calculate that what is the momentary current. This is nothing but the maximum momentary current in the equation 4. Okay, let's see that this is the equation 4. Okay, so e to the power of, okay, 0 is 1. Okay, this term is going to 1, so here 1. Okay, look at this equation 4, Vm by Z 1 plus sine, okay, theta is nothing but, already we got, this is 90-degree, minus alpha e to the power of 0 is 1 minus 0. Okay, 1. So we know that sine 90 minus alpha will become cos alpha. So to get this maximum momentary current, so only the possibility is that when alpha is become 0, means cos 0 is 1, then only I will get the maximum value. Okay, so this So this implies that there is a short circuit will be severe if the fault occurs when the voltage which is going through the zero. It means that when the voltage which is crosses the zero, then only the short circuit will be very high. Okay, so that's why we are assuming that cos 0 is 1. We are assuming that alpha value is 0. Okay, this is nothing but cos 0 is 1. 1 plus 1 we will get Vm by Z into 2. That is nothing but we'll call it as Imm is equal to V in 2 into Vm by Z. Okay, this is the term. So this can be observed that there is an the maximum possible value of the momentary short circuit current is double. So when the symmetrical short circuit current will take place. So this is nothing but this term we will call it as doubling effect in the transmission line. So this is the derivation which is going to be required if they are asking examination. Derive the expression for the doubling effect in the transmission lines. That we have to understand the concept.